Hi, if you're here, if you clicked on this video, it is probably for a very important reason. There's something that's been placed on your heart, something that's been stirring in your soul, something you've been thinking about and dreaming about and hoping about probably for a while now, if not even longer. Just the thought of this thing excites you, whether it's a new job or career change or a new relationship, a new friendship, a trip you've been dying to take, a move across the country, across the world, or even just to the town next door to you, or even the house next door to you. Whatever it may be, just the thought of this thing excites you. The excitement stirs in you. It may overwhelm you, like that feeling like when you're a kid and you wake up to the first snow of the season, you know that one? That's the exact feeling, at least in my mind, that may be on your heart and in your soul right now. And yet, despite all of the excitement and how deeply and desperately you want this thing to happen, how much you dream about it, how much time it consumes in your head, you're hesitant. You keep putting it off. You're giving yourself these specific requirements that if and only if you meet those requirements, then you'll finally start. But sometimes the conditions aren't met. Oftentimes the conditions are not met. The perfect timing does not come. It may never come, in all honesty. So you keep putting it off and hoping and wishing until those hopes and wishes and dreams and that excitement become this distant longing, and you convince yourself that it's no longer worth it, or you'll never get it done, or you're no longer worth it for this thing to happen. This deep hope, this beautiful dream that you have, it's been placed on your heart for a reason. All you have to do is to take the very first step. And I know that word all is interesting here, and it's complicated and it's nuanced and it's complex because all I have to do is to take the first step, but taking the first step is so scary. It's so terrifying. And that's often the greatest barrier between where we are right now, who we are, and who we want to become, and what our dreams are, and all the things that we want to do and to accomplish. Often our greatest dreams and our greatest desires require us to step and oftentimes to jump out of our comfort zone with no knowledge of a safety net down below. In all honesty, I'm in the exact same place. I have these deep desires, these big dreams, these hopes, this longing, this inner knowing of who I am meant to be. And yet, I get stuck in this space of not knowing which step to take, which is the right step, which should I go this direction or that direction, or should I start or should I stop, or whatever it may be. The path that's in front of me to get to who I want to be, where I want to be, the life that I want to have, the path seems dark and scary and intimidating, and so I stay stuck. I don't take any steps whatsoever. But someone recently told me, and I want to share this wisdom with you, that we have enough light inside of us that this big, dark, scary, intimidating path will only be lit up when we take the first step. And then once we take the first step, the next step will be lit up from our own inner light. And as you keep taking more steps and becoming closer to the person you want to be and doing more things out of the way that person or that dream would become, the path will be illuminated until you've taken so many steps that you can look back at all of you accomplished. And then at that point, it might be scary again and dark again, but you know that if you keep taking steps, you'll eventually get to where you need to go. The funny thing about making this video is that it has been challenging. There have been so many roadblocks. Like, I'm making this video about just start. Like, forget about all the roadblocks, forget about all the things, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to arise, that they're not going to come up. Like, the first time I tried to film this video, the lighting was off, the sound was off, all of the things just weren't working out in my favor. And then I recorded the whole thing and I watched it back and I was like, that's just not and now there's more sound. Do you see what I mean? My point being that there's been so many roadblocks in creating this video that I almost just threw in the towel and said, oh, it just wasn't meant to be. There's all these roadblocks because it just wasn't meant to be. But this is important to me, and I know that the thing that has been placed on your heart is important to you too. So don't let the roadblocks, don't let the timeline, whatever it may be that's coming up. Maybe it's not just your mental space, maybe it's physical things in your life that are happening that are preventing you from doing the thing that you really so deeply want to do. I just encourage you to not let these roadblocks prevent you from doing what needs to be done, because what you're about to do is important and it will be fruitful and it's going to be so, so amazing. Fear is an important instinct. I'm not going to sit here and tell you to ignore every fear that you ever have and to just push past every fear that may ever come up, because fear is so important, right? It prevents us from going into the woods and approaching a bear, or prevents us from walking alone at night in a scary area, or whatever it may be. This fear is an instinct to keep us safe. But as humans in our modern day age, we have also created this fear that is completely just created. It's in our heads, it's made up in our minds. And there's a big difference in the fear that keeps us safe and the fear that we create in our heads of the unknown, which more likely than not is the fear that you're facing right now about just starting, just doing the dang thing. This fear of the unknown is a fear that we have to walk through, a fear that we have to work through in order to get to our dreams. You always hear that saying, maybe you haven't heard it, everything you want is on the other side of fear. And I think it's important to distinguish here the fear that is instinctual versus the fear that is man-made, created in our heads, that prevents us from doing what we want to do. So what is it that you're afraid of? Is it failure, or is it other people's opinions, the risk? Or, hear me out on this one, because this one actually took me a while to sit with. Is it the fear of success? That's the case for me. The fear of, what if it actually works out? What if your life is bigger and better and even more beautiful than you could have ever imagined, and all you had to do was to walk through and work through those fears and those anxieties to become the person that you want to be and to create this extraordinary, beautiful, wonderful, amazing life that you cannot wait to wake up to. But what if the risk is worth the reward? What if it turns out even better than you could have ever imagined? What if the entire universe is conspiring in your favor? There's this Amber Lion quote that says, "What separates the one that walks forward and the one that does not is the belief in the voice of doubt." You just have to have more belief in yourself and who you are and what you're going to accomplish than you have in the belief of doubt. There are so many doubts that can arise. What if I'm not good enough? What if I can't do it? What if I mess up? What if I make a mistake? What if everyone laughs at me? What if this, that, or the other? Again, these are the fears, the doubts, the anxieties that we create in our heads that are so worth working through to get to that version of ourselves that has walked through it and become better for it. So the best time to start is now. You're not too old, you're not too late, you're not too young, you're not too inexperienced. You don't need more experience, you don't need more time, you don't need more money, you don't need more whatever it is that is becoming this roadblock for you. Use what you have right here and right now to go forward and to do the thing that you've been so desperately wanting to do. You already have everything you need inside of you. Do it messy, do it scared, do it jumbled. Just do it. Just take the first step. Take a small step, take a big step, take whatever kind of step that you want. And don't be afraid of if you take the wrong step. You can always turn around and go back and take a different step. There is so much growth and abundance in the process of the journey and becoming who you want to be and the type of person who has the life that you want to have. So just take the first step and see where it leads you. You are worthy of accomplishing what's been placed on your heart and going after your deepest desires. I believe in you, and good luck. We can do this together.